Hello, and welcome to the Path to Freedom podcast, a podcast that is about how you can tap into the freedom that is inherent within you, regardless of what is going on in the external world. Freedom from fear, worry, and doubt. Freedom to follow your heart's desires. Freedom to live in joy, love, peace, and harmony. My name is Daniel Roqueo, and I'm your host.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Path to Freedom podcast, a weekly podcast that is about freedom, the freedom that is inherent within us, the freedom that is always available to us in every single moment of our lives, if we only choose to allow it to come forth. The topic for this episode, for this week, is that heaven is right here. Let's live in it. And this topic came to me this morning as I woke up. I woke up with this topic, and it came to me because of something that happened yesterday, where I realized that, or when I became aware that for a moment I've been unconscious. I'm usually not very reactive to what happens around me. I'm usually non-reactive to what others do, what they don't do. I'm usually very good at bracketing my opinions about what should and should not be. But yesterday, I found myself reacting to what another individual was doing. I got irritated, I got angry, negativity stewed within me. And I was not able to release it. Circumstances did not allow me to go into meditation, and so I lived in that negativity for almost the whole evening yesterday. And so when I woke up this morning, I woke up with this topic for today, that heaven is right here, let's live in it. As always though, before we get into the topic, let's begin in and with gratitude. Because we always, as we talked about last week, we always want to begin in gratitude. We always want to start off whatever we're doing in that high vibration of gratitude. Because remember, each and every moment is a starting point. Each and every single moment is a moment where we get to start anew, where we get to begin again. And so let's begin again right now. So I invite you to take a deep and conscious breath. You can even move your body. Shake it all up and shake off that excessive energy that you may be holding on to. So move it. Shake it a little bit. And then let's turn within. And I invite you to go to a place for which you feel grateful. Go to a space within you for which you feel grateful. It can be a loved one, it can be an accomplishment, it can be your body and all that it does for you. It can be a gift that you have received. Whatever. Just take on that feeling tone of feeling grateful, of being grateful. In other words, let's let's let go of the past. Whatever we bring into this, let's let it go in this moment. Let's dive right into the nowness of this moment, this high and holy moment. And let's just turn our attention to all the gifts, all the blessings, all the blessings, all the miracles that are present in our lives right now. And let's just give thanks. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all the good present in our lives. Let's just stay here for a while in this high vibration. This high vibration that has nothing to do with our present circumstances, that has nothing to do with our past, that has nothing to do with the present moment. And I'm talking the present moment as in time. This high vibration, this feeling tone of being grateful, that has nothing to do with the future, a future moment, but that has everything to do with the nowness of this moment. The nowness of this moment. So let's just be grateful. Thank you. All right. You may keep your eyes closed, you may open your eyes, but let's dive into heaven, because that is what we're going to be talking about today. And heaven, of course, is not a place. It's not a place here on earth. Well, it is a place here on earth if we bring it, but it's not a place where we go if we've been good, like described in the Bible and other references. Hell, on the other side, is not a place either where we're condemned if we have not been good, if we have not followed the rules and regulations. But both heaven and hell are states of consciousness. States of consciousness that we get to choose. We get to choose our state of consciousness depending on where we turn our attention. The ego, as we've been talking about before, is trapped in time. It is caught up by the past moments, or present moments, or future moments, and it sort of bounces in between these three: past, future, present, future, past, and it goes back and forth. But it's trapped, it's caught in time. And this, as we believe, as we let the ego run us, as we let our opinions run us, our judgments, our point of views, this is hell. And that is what happened to me yesterday. Someone did something that triggered a mental and emotional response within, or not a response, reaction within me. I got caught up by the ego's opinions about what the other did, which was not to my liking. I did not approve of their choices. And so this whole story was created within me about what should and should not be. And I got thrown into hell, deep hell, literally, with all the toxic chemicals flowing around my body, with all the negativity that was consuming me. The peace, the harmony, and the joy that I normally experience, that is usually my state, it was gone. It was gone. It was nowhere to be found. But I lived in this state of negativity. I was trapped. And the thing is, I was aware that I was trapped, but I was not able to get out of this prison. I was not able to break free. So that is hell. Living under the aegis of the ego, living under the aegis of opinions and judgments and point of views and perspectives. It's a crappy place to be. It's a crappy place to be. But I did what I could in that moment. To the best of my ability, I did what I could. I was not able to break free of it. And this is where most people live. They are constantly trapped by the ego. They are constantly trapped by their opinions and point of views and judgments of themselves and of others and things that are happening in the world. It is a living hell to be there. And we live there, we stay there, we remain there because we're not aware that there's a way out. But just as hell is a place in our mind, a state of consciousness, heaven is also a state of mind. It's also a place, a state of consciousness. And if hell is being trapped in time, run by the ego under the aegis of opinions and point of views, then heaven is stepping out of time, allowing the eternal joy and peace and love and beauty and intelligence and creativity and bliss and harmony and freedom that is everywhere at all times, allowing that to run us, allowing that to be the space and the place where we live. But it's a choice in each and every moment. Now, I'm not saying that we all have the ability to choose that all of the time, because that is not the case. I know that. And yesterday for me was yet another mere example of how difficult it can be sometimes. But still, it is a choice that we have. Me, yesterday, as I was stewing and brewing this negativity, I was not able to make that choice. I was not able to choose to come back to the nowness of the moment. But I remained in time. I dwelled upon what the other had done. I made a whole story about it. A story that I regurgitated, that I told myself over and over. And I was aware of this. I was aware that I told myself the same story over and over and over again. Blaming the other, pointing finger at the other, judging the other. It was like a record on or a song on repeat, on Spotify, and you have this favorite song, and you press the repeat button, and it plays over and over and over and over again. And that is what my experience was yesterday. This story of what should and should not be that I created. It was not the other individual that created this story. I created it. Or my ego created it. And it was put on repeat, played over and over and over again. I was trapped in time. I was not able to come back to the nowness of this moment. I was not able to step out of time, where the bliss is, where the joy is, where the peace is, where the harmony is. And this, of course, is practice. It's been said that choice is a function of awareness, which means that in order to exercise our ability to choose, we need to be able to be aware that we have a choice. I was not aware that I had a choice. I was not able to exercise it. I was aware that I was caught in a rut. I was aware that I was caught in loop, a downward spiral of negativity. But I could not muster up the strength to choose to get out of it. Now, getting out of it, moving from hell to heaven, is actually quite simple. It's simple, it's not easy, but it's simple. Had I had, because I was in a situation where I could not withdraw what I wanted to do and what I'm not going to say should have done, but what I could have done had circumstances been a little bit different. I could have gone off to a secluded space or place, to my meditation room, and become still. Take these deep, conscious breaths, reminding myself to open and expand, embrace and allow, release and let go. These are my placeholders in the holy now. Open and expand, embrace and allow, release and let go. These are my reminders to come back to the nowness of the moment, to release and let go of the stories that I may currently believe. But as of yesterday, or not as of, but yesterday, I was not able to get away from people. I was in a space where there were a lot of people, and so I had no place to go. There was no place where I could find stillness, and I could not find stillness in and by myself in that moment. So I remained in hell. I remained in hell. But heaven is not, it's not far away. It's not a far off place. But it is that space and place within us where there's only stillness. So in this moment, I invite you to join me in heaven by taking a couple of deep and conscious breaths. Now I invite you to open and expand. Feel your mind opening and expanding. Literally feel it, because this is a physical sensation. Something literally happens when we set the intention to open and expand. I can feel my mind opening. It's like the boundaries of my body dissolves. I'm no longer just this little person, this little Daniel, but I'm something else. The me, the spiritual nature of me. And this is, of course, it's true. It's always true. It's not just throwaway statements, but it's always true. But it's like I can feel myself becoming the spiritual being, the infinite, eternal spiritual being that I am, as I remind myself to open and expand. So as you remind yourself to open and expand, look for sensations. Look for how it feels to open and expand. Now the next step is to embrace and allow, which simply means that whatever is, we give it permission to be. We give it permission to be because it is. Fighting it, resisting it, seeking to deny it does not change the fact that this is. In this moment, this is what is. So we embrace and allow it. And then we release and let go of everything that no longer serves us in this moment. Opinions, judgments, point of views, perceptions, perspectives. We release and let it go. We move out of time into the eternal, beyond time, and this is where heaven is. We move into high and holy communion with the Divine Spirit, who is nothing but love and peace and joy and abundance and creativity, intelligence, beauty, bliss, freedom, harmony. We move into one-ment with His presence that is everywhere. Now we're in heaven. Now we're in heaven. I can still not feel, but I can still hear the stories they've been rambling on all morning about what happened yesterday. The ego will not let up. It will not give in. But as I'm standing firm in the nowness of this moment, as I'm standing firm in heaven, I'm not run by them. I still hear them, I still experience them, but I'm not run by them. There's something else driving me, there's something else moving me, there's something else pulling me. So I take a couple of deep breaths. I remind myself to open and expand, embrace and allow, release and let go. And that is how I step out of time. That is how I move from inside time to outside time. This is work, my friends. This is work. And we need to, as we've been talking about before, repetition is the key. I may not have used those exact words, but repetition is the key to learning. Repetition is the key to unfolding. We do it over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's like building muscles. Being able to anchor ourselves in the nowness of this moment is building muscles. It will not happen overnight. It is not a one and done thing, but it's through us coming back to the nowness of this moment, to the holy now, on a constant, consistent, and regular basis. That is how we build these presence muscles. And as for me, one of the major reasons why I ended up in hell like I did last night is because for the last couple of weeks, a little bit longer, I am neglected to do my work. I have neglected my spiritual practice. I have neglected meditation. Usually I meditate every day, every single day. But for the last 2.5 weeks, I have not meditated. I meditated perhaps 3 or 4 times. I used to do it every day. But for various reasons, I chose not to meditate every day. And this is what happens. This is the price that I paid. So peace is not, it is freely given to all who seek it, but it's not for free. It comes at a cost. The cost of discipline. The cost of going back to basic practice again and again and again and again and again. Just like an Olympic athlete training for the Olympics, they would not skip practice for a day or two just because they didn't feel like it. But they would stick to their schedule. They would stick to their program regardless of what they feel like. I was not practicing for the Olympics. I would not qualify because I skipped meditation. I thought doing tasks was more important than grounding myself in the in the nowness of this moment. I thought it was more important to get things done than to seek to come back to high and holy communion. To come back to the source where all of the creativity, all of the strength, all of the power is. It's like having an electric car and not plugging it in. It will only run for a number of miles. But you need to constantly plug it in, recharge it. Meditation, affirmative prayer, giving thanks, coming back to a place of gratitude and thanksgiving. These are all rechargeable practices that keeps us going. That keeps our mental presence muscles strong enough that we are not pulled in by the ego, that we're not pulled in by what happens in the external world, but that we can maintain and sustain our peace and our love and our compassion and kindness. Because that's what I would have wanted to do yesterday. Instead of jumping on this emotional roller coaster, going down into more and more negativity, I would have wanted to bless the other, pray for the other, desire for them peace and harmony and expanded consciousness. That's what I would have wanted to do. That's not what I was doing though. That's not what I was doing, but that's what I would have wanted to do. And that's my intention. That's where I'm seeking to go, to the place where no one but me has power over me. If you've been following the podcast, a number of weeks ago we talked about forgiveness and how, first of all, everybody's doing the very best they know how to do in each and every moment, but also how no one has the power to make us think or feel anything unless we give them the power. And by God, that individual last night, it was not them that made up my stories. It was not them that passed judgment or forced judgment upon me, but it was me. It was me. Because I have not been diligent, I have not stayed on course with my spiritual practice. In this, it is very important as we become aware of our own shortcomings, as we become aware of when we fall. Obviously, we do get back up. We get right back up. We dust ourselves off and we get back up. But it is so important that we refrain from passing judgments onto ourselves. It is so important that we learn to meet ourselves, give ourselves love and compassion and kindness and forgiveness if need be. We don't want to pull ourselves down. We don't want to push ourselves down. But we want to lift ourselves up. We want to encourage ourselves. We want to create the conditions for us moving even higher and higher up. Take a breath, please. Open and expand. That you may catch, hear, feel, see that which cannot be caught, heard, felt, or seen with the human senses. That you may catch the next great version and vision of who you want to be, of who you are. Not reacting to circumstances, but responding from a place of love and peace and kindness and compassion. Embrace and allow. Make that vision and version welcome. Invite it in. Intend to see it manifested. Now release and let go of anything and everything that would hinder, obstruct, and obscure that greater and grander expression from emerging. Heaven is right here within each of us. So let's live there. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not set the intention to live in heaven every single day of our lives? What would it be like if we moved through life unmoved by life, unmoved by circumstances, untouched by circumstances? What if we could live in a perpetual state of joy and peace and harmony? And I'm not talking about us feeling good all of the time, because that's not it. That is not what this is about. There are periods where we feel like crap, where we're not feeling good. This is part of the spiritual awakening. It's a part of the path of freedom. It's a part of the path of awakening. When stuff comes up, we're not always happy. But happy and joy are not the same. Happy and peace are not the same. Happy and freedom are not the same. Happy and harmony are not the same. It is fully possible to be unhappy, yet feel at peace. I've experienced it so many times. This morning, as I woke up, I was not feeling too good at all. The stories were still, they still held me in their grip. But I was aware that they held me in their grip, and so I was at peace. There was a level of joy even though I was not feeling good. And right now, I'm still affected by what happened yesterday. And as I said, I still, on the surface, those stories are still there. They're still being told. But I'm still at peace. I'm still experiencing joy. I'm still experiencing freedom. And a level of harmony. So we are not talking about walking around with a smile all of the time. But we're talking about being at peace. Being in love. Being kind. Being generous. Being compassionate. Being creative. Radiate beauty and wholeness and health and abundance. Even though we're not feeling good. This is heaven. This is heaven. Not letting the outside control us, but letting the greater and grander version and expression and vision of who and what we are to pull us forth. Allowing that still small voice to move us gently through life. That still small voice that is forever and ever and ever speaking and whispering words of wisdom and guidance and love. Why not choose to live in heaven? Why not set the intention to allow heaven to reign supreme in our lives? I dare you to. I dare you to. I dare you to challenge the ego to the extent where the ego has no power over you anymore. Heaven is right here. It is not a place we go when we die, if we're lucky. But we bring heaven everywhere as we choose to come back to the nowness of this moment. As we choose to anchor ourselves in the nowness of this moment. That is where heaven is, in the nowness of this moment. In the holy now. So let's live here. Let's come back numerous times throughout the day to the nowness of this moment. It takes what? 10 seconds to take a breath, take another, simply remind myself to open and expand, embrace and allow, release and let go. And obviously, initially, it may take longer than that, but as we get used to it, as we've made it a practice, as we've made it a habit, it goes like that. And then, like for me yesterday, when there's so much going on, there's so many stories, they're grabbing and tugging and pulling, it may take longer. Like for me, it took, well, I didn't manage to come back to the numbness of this moment for all day or all evening last night. But I had to go to sleep and wake up and allow this new day to sort of bring heaven with it. But it's always to the best of our ability. Nothing more, nothing less, the best of our ability. Heaven is right here. I dare you to seek it. I dare you to intend to live in it. I absolutely dare you to. I'm going to pray us out. So I invite you to close your eyes, relax, and as I give thanks for this wonderful time, I'm so grateful for this field that is now being created, for this opening into heaven that has now revealed itself to us. I'm so grateful for all the challenges that arise in our lives along our path, because they only serve to make us stronger. They only serve that we may use them as stair steps to higher and higher and higher levels of consciousness, to higher and higher and higher levels of expression, of freedom. So I'm so grateful for my experience yesterday. I am so grateful for it because it has allowed me to see even clearer. Everything is working for our good on an individual level and a collective level. I know it, I feel it, I accept it, I give thanks for it and allow it to be. And I know this because I know that God is good. The Spirit is good, the Divine is good. It wants nothing but good for us. I know that the will of God is that all of life forever and ever move into higher, greater, and grander expressions of itself. Because it is through life, it is through you and through me that God may come into ever greater and grander expression of itself. So God is forever for us, moving us, grooving us, leading us, pulling us, driving us, thriving us, sourcing, fueling, funding, sustaining, maintaining us. Everything is working for good, that we may realize that heaven is right here. That we may realize that heaven is right here. It's all about awareness. It is all about awareness. So in this moment, something wonderful has happened. Our minds are now clearer. Our hearts are now purer. Our bodies are now cleaner. That we, you and me, may move into heaven. That we, you and me, may realize that heaven is not out there, but that heaven is right here within us. Something wonderful is happening. Healing has taken place. Beauty has taken place. Abundance has taken place. Joy, peace, harmony, freedom has taken place, is taking place right now. And all of that, which previously has hindered and obstructed and obscured heaven from us, from stepping into heaven, from moving in heaven, from living in heaven, is now being dissolved. It's being dissolved right now, in this very moment. And from this moment on, from this moment forth, we move in heaven. We're no longer being run by our egos. We're no longer reacting to external circumstances the way we used to do. But we've been initiated into a higher level of consciousness. We've been initiated into a higher level of freedom. Heaven has opened up its doors that we may step fully into it. I know it, I feel it, I accept it, I give thanks for it, I allow it to be. As I release these words, the law responds with an affirmative yes. That is the only way the law can respond. It's done. In the mind of God, it's done. And we allow that doneness to now manifest here. So it is, so be it. Amen. Hallelujah. Ashe. Oh my God. My God. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so grateful that you joined me. I'm so grateful that you're here. This is a beautiful space that we're in. Any questions, any comments, I would love to hear them. I thank all of you who are reaching out, who are connecting with me. I love it. Please keep them coming. Until the next time, I bless your day and I bless your way. Thank you.
You have been listening to an episode of the Path to Freedom podcast with me, Daniel Roqueo. Please stay tuned for more episodes. And for even more inspiration and empowerment, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. I also invite you to visit my website, danielroqueo.com. Blessings of love and light to you.